In the last Blender video, which was number 3, I created 2 headstones using the cube. If you go into Add and then Mesh up here, you'll see that there's a lot of nifty objects that we can choose from. There's a plane, a cube, a circle, UV sphere, and all that. I don't know if my plan is to use every single one, but I'm not going to use the cube this time. Instead, I'm going to use a cylinder to make a coffee mug. So the first thing I want to do is to get rid of this. You can either go shift and click on each of these, or you can just select them all. Notice I'm in select mode and just go X, and then it will say ask if you want to delete it, and all you do is say delete, and now you're done with everything. Now to get the cylinder, I'm going to do a shortcut. I just did Control A and then Mesh. And then I'm going to go down and select cylinder, and now I have my cylinder, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger by scrolling the mouse wheel. Now at the bottom left you see add cylinder, so I'm going to open that up, and in this box you'll see a lot of data about the cylinder. You see how many vertices it has, you see what the radius is and the depth and all sorts of things. The only thing I'm not worried about, but I want to look at is the number of vertices. Right here, this is the default, 32 vertices. And I'm going to keep it that way. So all I have to do is to just not do anything at all. But if you want to change the vertices, then you can use this. If I were to scroll backwards, notice that you get a different number of planes. Okay, so I'll go back up to where I was before, 32. And so there's where I'm going to start. Okay, now you'll see what the vertices are for once we get into putting the handles on our coffee mug. Now I'm going to switch out of edit mode and hit tab. Switch out of object mode and hit tab. So now we're in edit mode. And I want to make sure that up here that face is selected right here. So I'll go and select face, and what I want to do is to select the top of the cylinder. So we have our select box tool, we make sure the face is selected, and I want to click and select the top of the face. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to click on I, and then I'm going to make this go in a little bit, and then click on it so we can freeze it. And notice that this tells you a little bit about the data of our inset. Then I'm going to click E for extrude, and then extrude it down a little bit. Now we have a problem here. Notice that we can't see where our extruded part goes, but there's an answer for that little problem. So oops, I forgot to click down. Make sure you click it so your extrude holds. So I'm going to click the X right here and get a front view, and then up here we have this handy dandy little thing called toggle X-ray. So I'm going to click on toggle X-ray, and that's going to show us how far we pulled our extruded version down. I want this extruded version to go down somewhere in here because this is going to form the bottom of our coffee cup. So I'm going to select the move tool and move this part down until we get to the bottom and put it right like that. We don't want it too thick down there. So now we have that part done. This is the bottom of the cup, but what I want to do is I want to shape the bottom. So make sure that the part is that you keep this selected, don't unselect it. And then I'm going to go up here to my gizmo here and rotate it around so that we can see the bottom of the cup. So I'm going to go there. We can see the bottom of the cup. And then I'm going to go over to the select tool, and I'm going to go shift and select the bottom of the cup. So I think I'm going to turn that X-ray thing off. Go to the bottom of the cup, and then I should have both of these selected. And hopefully I didn't click off of it. Okay, so we have two things selected. We have the bottom of the cup and we also have the extruded part. So now I'm going to have the move tool selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go scale and move in. So we're just going to give a little bit of taper to the bottom of our cup. So there we go. Now I can click off the X-ray and turn it around a little bit so that we can see the whole thing, and there it is. Now most of my coffee mugs, I mean, I drink out of mugs, not cups, and most mugs are the same size at the top as they are at the bottom, but I wanted to show you this so that you could do this if you wanted or knew how to do it. So if you're making something like a teacup, obviously you're going to have to make the bottom a little bit more narrow. Now what we want to do is to put the handle on this thing. And to do this, I need to make what's called a loop cut. So to do that, I want to hit Control R. And when I put my cursor over there, you'll see that I have a ring. What a loop cut does is it splits the faces in your object by inserting new lines, and that's what I want to do. So I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel until I get 6 of them. 3, 4, 5, let me see, 1, 2, 3, there's 5. Okay, there's 6. Make sure I'm really 6. Now click down on it or you're going to lose them. And then what we want to do is to see if they're in the position that we want them to be in. And if they are, and these are, I don't have to move them around. I mean, I could move them around like that. See how I can move them around? So once you get them in the position that you want them in, you just click down and that will make them stay there and they'll turn black. Okay, so now we have all these little faces here. Now we want to go up here and make sure that face is selected from the select mode. So I want to have my select box and face up here selected, and I'm going to select 2 faces at the top and 2 faces at the bottom. And the way you do this is you select a face and then you hold Shift, select another one, and then select these 2 faces right here. So we do that. I held down my Shift key so I could select them all. This is where the coffee mug handle is going to come out of. So once we do this, and make sure that all 4 of them are selected, so double check that, we can press E and extrude these out a little bit. I'm not going to extrude them out very much, just about that much. And once I do that, I'm going to turn this around a little bit because I want to have a better bead on things here. So I've extruded them out just a little bit. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go and select Edge because I need to move this edge down here and this edge right here in a little bit so that these faces are selecting each other. So I are facing each other. So I selected that and I'm going to hold my Shift key. Well, I'm going to select that one, hold the Shift key, that edge, and then these top 2 edges. Okay, so once I have those 4 edges selected, I can select the Move tool and then move those edges in a little bit. And I'm going to move them in almost all the way in to the side of the coffee mug. And our coffee mug handle is going to come out this way and go all the way over here. Okay, now we need to flip back to the face select mode. So I'm back to the face select mode and I need to select all those faces. So I'm going to go select that one. Whoops, need the select thing, and I'm going to hold the Shift key and select all of my faces. And now that I have all these faces selected, I'm going to go over here and right click, and there should be something that says something about bridge faces. There it is, right there. So you want to click bridge faces like that, and it will form this. Okay, and what we want is we want a number of cuts. So the number of cuts I want on this is about 20. So I'm going to type 20 in there and then do that. Right here you want open loop, and that will give you an open loop. If you choose one of these others, you'll get something that looks actually pretty cool, but it looks really weird. And the number of cuts I want is 20, and that's how many I got. And what it did is it connected that and that in a loop, and it formed our mug. Now that we're done with that, I will go to Tab. We're back to object mode, and there is our cup. So it's a little bit weird, and the reason it's a little bit weird is because it's got all these faces that are still there, so we're really not done with it. We need to make some more adjustments, unless you like your cup to look like that. So to get rid of this cut thing, I'm going to make sure that my cup is selected. I'm in object mode. So now what you want to do is you want to click right, and right here you have shade smooth. So we're going to press shade smooth like that, and it smooths out your coffee mug. So there you have a smooth coffee mug. We can turn it around, take a look inside, and that to see what we want. But if we don't like it, and on this one, I don't know if you can see it or not, there are some little lines. See those little lines right there? I don't know if you can see it or not. There's another method that we can use to smooth out those lines, and that's something that's called a modifier. So what a modifier is it kind of changes the geometry of the object so you can add more effects. In this case, we're going to add a smoothing effect and see if we can smooth out these lines or if it's just going to make it look worse. So the modifier is this little wrench, and you'll open and you'll click on that, and it doesn't look like it's done anything, but you have to add a modifier first. So you're going to click on add a modifier, and then you're going to go down to generate, and then down here it has subdivision surface. So we're going to click on that, and now notice that it changed from what we had before. The reason that it changed is because right here under levels view, you have one level selected. If we would go back and set it to 0, that's what the coffee cup looked like when we brought it in. So the coffee cup looks like this with 0 levels view, but if we want to try and get rid of these little lines, we can do this and give it that. Now what this also does, it got rid of the lines, but it also makes this a little bit thinner. The last time I did this, it did something weird to the inside of the cup. I'm going to see that. So I have no clue why this is happening, but it is. Now notice that when I go back to levels view and I go back to 0, it gets rid of it. So now we're back to here. So whether you like that or not, I guess is going to depend on what you're doing and what you want to get rid of. And remember, I'm learning this as we go, so I'm not an expert, so you might want to see what you like the best. Now over here, there's some different kinds of things. We're clicked here. This is the default. I have no earthly idea what this is. Probably some kind of an algorithm or something. But if you go over here and click on simple, let's see what happens. Okay, now I've clicked on simple, and it got rid of the things inside the cup. So in this case, I might just want to click on simple, and that gets rid of that and keep it at 0. So now let's move this up and see. I'm going to add one. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, and see, that makes the handle more rough, but it does look good inside, so it just kind of depends. So let's try and add more of these things, and let's, ooh, I don't want that. So what you need to do is to play around in here and fiddle around with the modifier and see what you like best. Go back and forth between these two buttons. That's all I really did. And then move it back up And I think I just may set this back to 0 because I like having this thicker top on it. So I guess it just kind of depends on what your taste is. That's the inside of the cup. There's the handle. If we go to the other side, and so on. But notice that on 0, see, we still have those little lines. So it kind of depends on where you're going with this. Let me put it back. Okay, that got rid of the lines. I'm undecided. I think I like it the best on simple and with one level. And I think I'm going to hold it like that. Now, I'm not done because I want to give this a burnt orange color. I am a Texas X, a Longhorn. So I went and I looked up the hex code for the burnt orange color. So with the object selected, you want to go and click on this thing that looks like a warning thing, but it's not. It's the material properties button, and then click on it, and that will take you into material properties. So then I know it looks like there's nothing there, but there will be. Add new, and then this box will open, and the base color is now white. So we want to change that, so we're going to click on base color, and see down here is your hex code. So down here with the hex code, I'm going to select that and then type in the hex code of BF 5700. And then I'm going to press enter, and that's going to give me this base color. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, why isn't it on the mug? That's because you have to go up here to the top left and tell it to put it on the mug. So up here you've got these little things right here called viewport shading. And you have 4 things here. Well, there's the X-ray thing, toggle X-ray. This one is wireframe, and we have solid, which is what it's in now, and then we have material preview. That's what you have to click on. So click on material preview, and that's going to give me my burnt orange. I think this burnt orange looks better over here than it is here. It's a little too light for me, but I decided not to fiddle around with it, so I'm going to keep it there. There is our mug, burnt orange mug, the way we want it, or rather the way I want it. And so in this video, I've learned and introduced some new things, including making loop cuts, the toggle X-ray button, the concept of a modifier, and adding color to an object. So remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to keep up to date when future videos drop. This will also help push my channel out to others and help my channel grow. If you want to help support my channel, buy me a coffee by clicking on the link in the description.